My mom gave birth to me just so I could cure my sister's leukemia and had me do multiple procedures and bone marrow extractions with a giant needle without so much as a hug afterward. When I asked if we could stop, she said, "We created you to save your sister. That's your purpose." And my sister called me her walking medicine cabinet. I stayed silent. That was years ago. Now my sister is only a memory, and my parents got the karma they deserved. I was born to be harvested. My parents had my sister Holly first. She was diagnosed with leukemia when she was 4. They tried everything from chemo, radiation, experimental treatments. Nothing worked long term. Her cancer kept coming back, each time more aggressive than before. When this happened for the billionth time, my parents decided to have a savior sibling. Basically, they'd have another child, me, who would be a perfect genetic match to provide bone marrow, blood, and whatever else Holly needed. I found out that I was only born to be her organ donor when I was 7. Before that, I just thought all kids spent half their lives in hospitals getting poked with needles. I didn't know any different. My earliest memory is being in a hospital bed. I must have been about 3. I remember crying because my arm hurt from where they took blood. The needle seemed enormous to my toddler eyes, and the pinch felt like fire running through my veins. My mom was there, but she wasn't comforting me. She was just checking her watch and asking the nurse how much longer it would take. As soon as they were done, she rushed me out of there to get back to Holly, not even pausing to wipe away my tears or offer a reassuring hug. That was pretty much how it always went. Holly was the real child. I was just the walking pharmacy. The difference in the way they treated us was stark. Despite me being healthy, I never had birthday parties growing up. Holly did though, whenever she was well enough. She'd have big ones with all her friends from school and tons of presents wrapped in shiny paper with colorful bows. I was never allowed to join because I might expose Holly to germs after one of her treatments, so I just watched from the stairs. I sat there for hours, hugging my knees to my chest, watching other children laugh and play games while my parents fawned over Holly. My birthdays usually involved a trip to the hospital for some kind of donation procedure. Maybe a small cake afterward if I didn't cry too much during whatever they did to me that day. Once, when I turned 8, the nurse snuck me a cupcake with a candle. She let me make a wish before my parents came back to the room. I wished for someone to love me for me. I used to try really hard in school, thinking maybe if I got good grades, my parents would notice me for something other than my matching blood type. I brought home an award for a science project in 2nd grade. I'd spent weeks working on a detailed model of the solar system with hand-painted planets and carefully measured orbits. My mom glanced at it and said, "That's nice," before asking if I'd taken my iron supplements because they needed to draw more blood that weekend. The certificate ended up crumpled at the bottom of my backpack. I stopped trying after a while. Holly wasn't nice to me either. When she felt good, which wasn't often, she'd find ways to remind me why I existed. She'd call me her walking medicine cabinet, or spare parts. Once when I was about 6, I found her going through my dresser. When I asked what she was doing, she said she was checking what was hers. She told me my kidneys, my bone marrow, and my blood all belonged to her. I believed her for years. Sometimes at night I'd stay awake wondering which parts I might lose next. I couldn't have friends over either to escape the loneliness I felt because our house revolved around Holly's health. Everything was sterilized constantly. My parents were terrified I'd catch something and then wouldn't be able to donate. I basically lived in a bubble, but not for my protection, for hers. I remember one girl from school, Lily, who wanted to come over to play. When I asked my mom, she looked horrified and lectured me for an hour about how selfish I was being, risking Holly's life for something as trivial as friendship. By the time I was 9, things got worse. I overheard the doctors talking to my parents about a partial liver transplant. I didn't fully understand what that meant, but I knew it sounded scary and permanent. The thought of surgeons cutting me open and taking out a piece of my organ made me sick with fear. I tried telling my teacher at school that I was scared about an operation. She just patted my head and said sometimes we have to do things we don't want to for the people we love. That's when I realized nobody was going to help me. I was completely alone in this.